Hey guys, welcome to OnFireRobloxScripting, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a working shop inside Roblox Studio. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go under the View tab and open up the Explore and Properties. And now we're going to need to create our actual shop. So to do that, we're going to go all the way into the Start GUI. We're going to click the plus, enter in a Screen GUI. And under that, the Screen GUI, just click the plus and we're going to enter in a text button. So this is going to be the button that's going to open up our shop. Now, obviously, there are a lot of different ways of opening up a shop. So I'll be showing just a few in today's tutorial. So we're going to start off with the button. So with the button, you can just put it like on the side of your screen over here. And then after that, let's just rename this button to Open. And then you can also customize it by going down into the properties of it. So, I don't know. I can make my shop a gray background. Scroll down a little bit into the text over here. Let's change the text to shop. Let's change the color to white. Let's make it scaled. Scroll up and also make it a little bold. So this is what the button looks like right now. You can customize yours to look however you want. But once you do have your button, if you want the button to stay consistent across all your devices, then I will leave a plugin down in the description below. It is a UI conversion plugin. It's very useful because right now, if I go under the test tab, device, and maybe let's change something like iPhone XR, sure. Probably can't really tell right now, but the UI isn't scaled to every device. If I was to just make like a really big UI like this, center it on my screen over here, and then I'd go into a different device, you can see like on the iPhone XR now, it's completely messed up. Even like on the iPad too, it's not centered anymore, and it's different across all devices. So to fix that, just get the plugin I have in the description below. And basically how you use it is you click on the UI that you want to scale, click on plugins, and then open up the unit conversion, and then just press scale for the position and the size, and that's all you have to do. So if I go back to the example earlier, and then I scale it this time, scale it just like that. Let's go back to the device. As you can see, it is now scaled on all devices. Let's go back to the XR. You can see that the UI has been scaled. So you just want to make sure that you always scale your UI so that no matter who's playing on what device, shop works just fine on their screen. So after we have our shop button, let's go back to the Screen GUI. We can also just rename this to shop UI, just like that. So under the shop UI, let's click the plus and enter in a frame. So this frame is going to be our actual shop. If you have like tons of items, you can just insert a scrolling frame, but I'm just going to use a frame for this tutorial. For the actual shop, you just want to scale it to like how big you want your shop to be. So maybe I want to fill that much of the screen. And once again, you can go into the properties of it and you can customize it. So I can make mine like nice light blue in the background. That's probably all I'll do for background color. Because the actual things are going to go under this frame, which we can rename to the shop frame. So once you have like the outline of your shop, let's go back into the frame, and then we're going to script an exit button first. So to do that, I'm just going to click the plus and enter in a text button, just like that. And I'm going to put this text button on the top right of the screen, and I'm just going to make it like 50 by 50, just like that. And rename this button to exit, and then I'm going to go all the way down into the properties of it. I'm going to change the background to red, and then I'm going to scroll all the way down over here into the text. I'm just going to make it a giant X. I'm going to make it scaled. I'm also going to make it white, and then I'm going to make it bold, just like that. And now it looks like an exit button. Don't forget that as you go with each UI, that you're also scaling it so that it fits on all devices here. So we're just going to leave that exit button there for now. We'll come back later to script it. So back into the shop frame, This is where you can design your shop. So I'm just going to add in a text label, and this can be the title of our shop. So I'm just gonna put like a label across right there, and I'm going to make the background transparency 1 so that there's no background. And then I'm going to scroll down all the way to the text, and then I'm going to make the text shop. I'm gonna make it scaled. Black is fine. I might want to make it bold, and then maybe change font. Doesn't really matter how you format it. You could also make it like bigger, something like that. That might work. So this is going to be the title of our shop. So I'm just going to rename this text label to title. We're not going to put anything in the items today because this first part is just going to show you different ways that you may or may not want to open your shop. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys 3 different ways that you can open the shop, which is going to include clicking a button, holding E on a proximity prompt, and just touching a touchpad to open up the shop. The timestamps are on the screen right now, but they're also in the description and pinned comment down below. So we're going to start off with the click to open shop. So what we're going to do is click the plus and enter in a local script. We're just going to rename this to the shop button handler. And then you can now write what I write. So I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to start off with some variables. So local shop equals to script.parent.shop frame. And then local open equals to script.parent.open. And then local exit equals to shop.exit. After that, we can now script the open part of the script. So open dot mouse button 1 click colon connect function, put in brackets, and then go down a line. And then shop dot visible equals to true. And then open dot visible equals to false. And then we can do the exact same thing for the close part. So I'm just going to copy all of that, paste it in. This is going to be the closing part. Just instead of the open, it's going to be when we click the exit. So exit dot mouse button 1 click. And then we're going to make the shop visibility to false. And we're going to make the open visibility to true. And this should be the entire local script. So let's go test it out. Just a friendly reminder that before you test this out, you might want to make your shop invisible inside the properties. So you don't spawn in with the shop already opened. So if I'm inside the game here, I press on the shop appears, the open button disappears. And then if I click on this giant X exit button, shop disappears, shop button reappears, and I can just keep on doing that. So if this is the method that you want to open your shop with, then that is it for part 1, and I'll see you guys in part 2. If not, then I will be showing the proximity prompt method next. So if you don't want your shop to be opened by a button, then what we can do is use a proximity prompt and hold the letter or any key you want to open up the shop. So to do that, what we want to do first is actually go under the replicated storage that's inside the Explorer, click the plus, and enter in remote event. And then let's just rename this remote event to something like open shop. And then what we want to do is actually go into the avatar tab inside of our game, then go into rig builder and just generate an avatar. So this avatar is the guy we're going to walk up to and hold E to open up the shop. I'm just going to close this UI quickly by going to the view tab and then clicking on UI visibility. This does not mean that your UI is gone forever. It just means that we can't see it right now, but it will appear when we're back inside the game. If you want to toggle your UIs back on, just click on the UI visibility button again, and all your UIs will come back to life. So the NPC doesn't really matter who it is. It doesn't even need to be an NPC. It could be like a block just like that. But I'm just going to use an NPC for demonstration purposes. So under this NPC, I'm just going to click the plus and enter in a proximity prompt. I'm just going to find the proximity prompt, which is right there. And then under the proximity prompt, I'm going to click the plus and then enter in a script. And I'm just going to leave that script there for now. We're gonna go back to the proximity prompt and we're gonna go under the properties of it. And we can change different things like the action text, which I'm just gonna change to open shop. And then you can change different things like the gamepad key code is the key code console players need to press or hold. The hold duration is how many seconds they need to hold. So if it's 0, then they just have to press the button. If it's something like 1, they need to hold down that button for 1 second. The keyboard key code is for the PC players. So the default is E, but you can change it to any key on the keyboard that you want. And then max activation distance is how far the player needs to be before it shows up. So I'm just going to change mine to 20. So the player doesn't have to be too close. And the object text, you can just write something like the shop. And then requires line of sight. This just means that the player has to see where the proximity prompt is. So like if there's like a wall in between the player and the proximity prompt won't show. But if it's unchecked, then it doesn't care if there is a wall or not. So it doesn't really matter because I'm assuming that your NPC or block guy is going to be wide open. So once you're done with the properties of your proximity prompt, we're going to head back to the script. And now we can start scripting the script. So once again, I'm just going to start out with some variables. So local prox equals to script.parent. And then local remote event equals to game.replicate storage wait for child, put in quotation marks. And then I'm going to write in open shop. Because we named our remote event to open shop. So if I go inside the replicated storage, you can see our remote event is called open shop. So now we can code the main part of the proximity prompt. So prox.triggered connect function, put in brackets and write player, and then go down a line and write remote event fire client. And inside the brackets, write in player. And then we're going to go into our Start GUI under the shop UI. We're going to click the plus and enter in a local script. Let's rename this local script to something like shop button handler. Then you can write what I write. So once again, we're going to do the variables, but we can actually copy this one over. So we're going to go back to the first script. We're just going to copy the remote event one because that's the only one we need. Just gonna paste that in here, and then we can go down a line, and then we need to write out the other variables too. So local shop equals to script.parent.shop frame, and then local exit equals to shop.exit. And now we can continue the script with the other half of the open part. So remote event.on client event connect function, put in brackets, and then go down a line and then write shop.visible equals to true. And then we can script the exit part. So that would be exit.mouse button one click connect function, put in brackets, and then go down a line and write shop.visible equals to false. So this should be the entire local script part of the script. And then this should be the entire regular script part of the script. The regular script should be under the proximity prompt. And then this local script should be under the shop UI GUI. So let's go test it out. And just a friendly reminder before you test this out that you might want to make the shop frame invisible so that you don't spawn in with the shop already opened. So just ignore that little shop button on the left side. If you are not using the button to open it up, you can just delete the button because we don't really need it. But if I walk up to this NPC, if I'm within distance, the proximity prompt will show up. If I hold E, just like that, the shop opens up. And if I click on X, shop closes. And then I can keep doing this. Just open up the shop, close the shop, open up the shop, and then close the shop. So if a proximity prompt just like this is how you want to open up the shop, then that is it for this tutorial. And I'll see you in part 2. But if it is not, then I'll be showing you guys how to open up the shop by touching a touchpad next. So if you don't want your shop to be opened by a button or a proximity prompt, then I'm going to be showing you how to open it by touching a touch part right now. So if you don't want the shop button, then you can just start off by deleting the shop button. So we're going to go into the shop UI over here, the open. We can just delete it because we don't actually need it. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to make a touch part for the player to touch. But I can't really see my studio right now. So what I'm going to do is go under the view tab, and over here under UI visibility, I'm just going to click on this. This does not mean that your UI has been deleted. It just means that it's going to be invisible while you work in Studio. If you want to see your UI again, just press that button again and your UI will pop right back up. So I'm just going to close it for now, and I'm going to go into the model, and then I'm going to go under the parts, and I'm just going to enter in a cylinder. It's a nice cylinder we got here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale it down, maybe a little more. I'm going to go into model, change it to 0.25 so I can really get this pretty flat. And then I can scale this up. Maybe I want like a 20 by 20 circle. It's kind of big. Maybe not. But this is going to be the touchpad I want the player to touch to open up the shop. What we can do is go under the part here. I'm just going to rename this to our touchpad. And what we can do is under this touchpad, we can click the plus and enter in a regular script. We're just going to leave that script there for now, because what we also need to do is go under the replicated storage, click the plus, and enter in a remote event. Let's just rename this remote event to something like open shop so we can reference it later. Now we can go back to our script over here, and let's start off by writing some variables. So local touchpad equals to script.parent, and then local remote event equals to game.replicate storage wait for child, and put in quotation marks and write open shop. Just remember that we're writing open shop like that because that is what we named it under the replicated storage. So now we can write out the open part of the script, touchpad.touched connect function, and put in brackets, and then write in hit, and then go down the line, and then write if hit.parent find first child, and inside the brackets put in quotation marks and write humanoid with a capital H, and write then, and go down the line and then write local player equals to game.players get player from character, and then inside the brackets put in hit.parent. And then after that we need to fire the remote event. So remote event fire client, and then inside the brackets put in player. So basically what we've done here is when something touches our touchpad, we're going to check if it's a human, and if it is, we're going to get the player, which is the hit's parent, and we're going to fire that remote event to the client. So now we need to write the client side of the script. So we're going to go into our starter GUI, and under the shop GUI, click the plus, enter in a local script, and let's rename this local script to something like shop button handler, and then you can write what I write. So we can actually copy in this remote event variable from the regular script, just like that. And then we need to write in some other variables too. So local shop equals to script.parent.shop frame, and then local exit equals to shop.exit. So now we can write the other side of the open script, which is going to be remote event on client event connect function, put in brackets, and then go down a line, and then write shop.visible equals to true. And then we need to write the close part of the script, which will be exit.mouse button one click connect function, put in brackets, go down a line, and then write shop.visible equals to false. And just a friendly reminder before you test this out that you might want to make the shop frame invisible so that you don't spawn in with the shop already opened. So our touchpad is all the way over there. If I make my way to it and then I touch it, there you go. Our shop is now on our screen. If I click the X button, it disappears, and I can just keep on doing this. And if I'm on the touchpad, I click X, it's just going to reappear once again. But if I'm off of it and then I press X, it just disappears just like that. So yeah, if touching a touchpad to open the shop is how you want to open the shop, then that's it for this tutorial. I will see you in part 2. If it is not and you want one of the other methods, I'm afraid you skipped just a little too far. Find the timestamp of how you want to open your shop. Now obviously this isn't all the ways to open shops, it's just the most common ones, but once again this is just a simple shop tutorial. But yeah, that'll be it for this tutorial. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.